Hey, magic makers! I've got a reading for you today, just for whenever you see it. There's no timeline, so if you stumble upon this, felt called to watch it, then this might just have some juicy wisdom for you. One spread I really like to do for myself, and it's a three-card spread. Three-card spreads, really, when you're reading for yourself or for others, are fabulous. You get a lot of information from three cards, and there's so many different ways you can do it. It's kind of like the Gumby of tarot readings, very flexible. So for this one, I did what to release, what to embrace, and what to become, what to embody. So, for what you're being guided to release right now for you watching this video is judgment. So, like initially, right off the hop, I kind of laughed because the next card, what you're being called to embrace, is like the opposite of judgment. So, what I really saw with that was literally releasing judgment. So, judgments, and we don't always mean to judge people, but it is kind of how we've been taught to like navigate the world, right? Oh, that person's very fiery. That person is, they're kind of a jerk, but we like that. Or that person's good. That person's bad. Like we very quickly do this. And what happens sometimes with judgment is we end up putting ourselves and others into narrow boxes. And what we're really meant to be doing throughout life is evolving, growing, and changing. We're not really meant to be limited. There's a lot of pain through forced permanence that we experience when we don't think other people are supposed to change and when we ourselves don't let ourselves change, whether it's just through old ideas of the past, like I've always been this person, I'm supposed to be the person with this dream or this hobby or this goal, and like, oh my god, now I'm feeling called to go in this like entirely different direction. That's not who I am. Well, maybe it is actually. And you're just really attached to old judgments of how you're supposed to be. So, this is a really beautiful invitation to listen not to the walls that have kept you small, but listening to that call of spirit, that idea that you can't get out of your head. Notice if there's things in your life that you're like, this just doesn't work anymore, this feels restrictive, etc. We want to free ourselves from that. So this is really an invitation to free yourself. That's what this is, really is judgment, right? Like obviously, with tarot, there's so many different ways we can interpret the cards. It's really important for you to trust yourself, how you interpret them. So initially what came through loudly for me was literally releasing judgment. But then through that, it was so that you can actually hear the call of spirit. Because right now, judgment might actually be serving like little corks in your ear holes and in your third eye hole, your third eye. And so it's hard to like listen and interpret and understand your guidance. So when you release judgment, you're going to have bing, sharper intuition, clearer feelings, and you'll have a better idea about what to do for yourself and others. Also, like when we release judgment, the world doesn't seem necessarily as like scary, because instead of being like, I did something bad, I am bad. This is now me, bad Yanni. No, when you can release judgment, we understand that people change, people evolve, people make mistakes, everybody's flawed, and we're very difficult to put into boxes. That all of a sudden opens up a lot of like movement and freedom for yourself and for others. So that's your invitation. What you're being invited to embody, and this is why I was like, oh, it's totally the opposite of judgment, is the Queen of Wands. Okay. So the Queen of Wands is just, she's the queen of fire. So this figure is who brings in a lot of like magic and confidence. They're that person that you just can't get enough of. You just want to like be around them because they have so much light to share, and it's so wonderful. And the Queen of Wands, what's really cool about the Queen of Wands is that they're not only interested in shining their light, right? Like maybe reversed, but like upright in alignment. The Queen of Wands loves to radiate their light, but they want you to radiate your light too. The Queen of Wands really wants to encourage everyone to shine bright, because what is the night sky if there's but one star, right? A night sky full of stars is so beautiful. And the Queen of Wands really knows this and seeks to not just be like, observe moi. Like it's not like Miss Piggy vibes, although I love Miss Piggy. This is really like, I'm shining bright and I love to inspire and I love to share my art and I love to share my creativity and I love to dig my teeth into life and take big juicy bites out of it, and like you should too. So that's such a different energy from judgment, right? Judgments might be like, oh well, that person did this once, and so therefore they wronged me once, and now I, in my high and mighty righteousness, I who have never erred, just has cast them aside. And I think one of the reasons we can get like really anxious when we live in that place of judgment is like, if we treat others that way, then we're subconsciously expecting others to treat us that way. So if we have a very short leash for others, we're just feeling like there's a short leash ourselves. The Queen of Wands is very different. The Queen of Wands, like, you can't radiate like the Queen of Wands when you're living in a place of constant judgment, right? Judgment is heavy. The Queen of Wands is light, is fire, expansion, creativity, and passion. And that's what you're really being called to embrace at this time. So, notice and like if you're going and you're watching someone who's succeeding, if your instinct is to be like, oh, well, they only succeeded because like XYZ, this is not very Queen of Wands. Um, Maybe someone did have an easier time succeeding. But if you're seeing them online, chances are you don't know. So, and that's a judgment, right? And that judgment would be coming from a place within yourself where you don't feel like maybe you've been recognized or you haven't taken opportunities or you feel like there haven't been opportunities or whatever. And that becomes like a projection onto others. And the Queen of Wands is like, please, my friend, please project light at this time. We don't need more people afraid to share their gifts with the world. We need more people afraid of their creativity, of their spark, right? What we actually need is a considerable amount of light and courage and bravery and support. So what you can do then when releasing judgment is when you see someone who's done something cool, just notice the trigger, right? You can just be the observer and be like, fascinating. What's that say about me? And just be like really honest. Oi, kitties. Sorry, I've got a couple cats. They like to play, but they get a little spicy. Mommy's making a movie. Oh la la. Okay, sorry. Thank you for your patience. So with the Queen of Wands, you could be like, wow, like that's so cool. Good for them. If you see a friend who's doing really well, really like build them up and support them. If you see a friend who's holding themselves back, the Queen of Wands isn't like you are forever a yes man. You can only say, you know what I mean? If you're like, look, my friend, you've got all these gifts, but I watch you kind of like self-sabotage or I watch you whatever. You just do it from a place of light. So this would probably be more supportive than tough love, but tough love can still be a part of it. So maybe, if you notice a friend who you're like, wow, you are so gifted, like why do you talk down about yourself? Or why do you purposely fill your schedule with things that you don't want to do when we know exactly what you want to do? You want to write that book, you want to take that dance class, you want to start that YouTube channel. So you could be like, I love you, but I'm just, hey, may I point this out? You've got all this light, these gifts to shine. The world will be a brighter place if you shine them. So that's very Queen of Wands. It's you being confident, you sharing your gifts, you recognizing the light in others and encouraging them to share it in however way is appropriate for your relationship. Okay. And then when we do this, it gets juicier. What you embody, what you become is the Strength card. Oh, mama. And I love the Strength card so much on so many different levels. Okay, I want to talk about the imagery because the imagery in the Strength card really, like this card has underestimated awesomeness. Okay, so we've got our lion here. Okay. And we can see the lion looks pretty content, getting some chin rubs. Oh yeah, life's good. And then we have this lovely figure, gently hunched over, calmly petting. We've got this yoke of flowers between them. We've got a flower crown. Okay, like this is looking nice. We've got some very nice, like, I don't know, like this would look great at a Renaissance fair kind of dress. I'm into it. Okay, and we got that infinity symbol, which is also above the Magician in the tarot, which is the first line of the cards of consciousness, and Strength is the first line of the cards of the subconscious. Tarot, the gift that keeps on giving. We can never stop studying it. But pertaining to this reading, so we have this figure gently, gracefully stroking a lion. Now, immediately we know, if anyone's ever had pets or animals, best not to tame them through unkindness. It's through patience, it's through perseverance, it's through healthy boundaries, and it's through a lot of love that we tame our pets. But we don't oppress our pets, right? Like we still allow them to be like out and playful and fun. So now this is more than a pet, but just, to make it more relatable. I don't know how many of you have ever tamed a lion. But this is the lion can represent that part of ourselves, that passion. Okay, that excitement, maybe some of that like fierceness as well. And this isn't to say like, no, it doesn't exist, but we're making friends with it. And we make friends with it only through patience, humility, compassion, right? When we're in judgment mode, it's actually very hard to be compassionate. In judgment mode, we're very fast to just be like, oh, you did this, now you're bad. And it's a hard way to live because, and look, yeah, we got to set our boundaries, but most people would like other opportunities and other chances, right? And so when we move through life with a little bit more of that Queen of Wands, looking for the light in others, sharing our light, then we're actually starting to embody a lot of that strength. Instead of attacking all the time and acting from more of an like animal instinctual kind of like lower brain, we can use compassion from like the new brain that can see like the oneness in everyone. It doesn't mean that we put up with a bunch of garbage, but there's definitely ways that we can live with a lot more compassion and empathy. And when you do that, oh, strength just lets you know, wow, there is not much you cannot achieve with strength. And what I take from that infinity symbol, the infinity symbol is that it never stops, right? Like it's feeding itself, not dissimilar to like the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail. And so I always see the strength card as a reminder, like, this sounds cheesy, but we need some of this old school cheesy wisdom that says how you treat others is very well how you will be treated one day too. So it's not to say like literally what you are going to do is exactly going to be mirrored back to you, but it is a reminder that, if you are always very judgmental of yourself, then this might come out in the world. The world is going to mirror this. If you constantly judge others, there's going to be a day where you are judged and you are not going to like it. And it's not about punishment, but it's just to learn a lesson of compassion and empathy. So for this reading today, this is a real invitation to be brave. It takes guts to be compassionate. It takes guts to look for the good in other people. It can just be easier to write people off, really, because then we don't have to own our own part in anything, and we don't have to deal with uncomfortable conversations. So sometimes, it's easier to be self-righteous, but not really in the long run. That's a really hard way to live. So strength is reminding you of the power that you have when you can put yourself in someone else's shoes, when you can be patient, when you can be humble. And when you do that, confidence, creativity, your authentic nature comes out. Another thing I really like about the strength card is I, as a Reiki practitioner, really associate the lion with our lower 3 chakras and this figure here with our higher 3 chakras. So the lower 3 are the physical chakras, and they're about what we need physically on this planet. And then the higher 3 chakras are more of our spiritual connection. And the flowers I always associate with the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is the bridge between the physical below and then the spiritual above. And you notice there's the same amount. There's 3 and 3. So there isn't actually a hierarchy. It's not like physical material is more important, nor is spiritual more important. The heart reminds us of this bridge. So in the strength card, when we embody bravery and courage and creativity and love and compassion and empathy, we're actually creating heaven on earth within ourselves. Because ideally, with that open heart chakra and balanced physical chakras, balanced spiritual chakras, we have the heaven above, the earth below, and now we have heaven and earth within our own body. And that's how we can share all of this love and beauty and creativity with the world around us. See, 3 cards. You don't need that much more. So that's your invitation today, my friends. Really do a little judgment, cleanse. Hey, there's a book by Gabby Bernstein called Judgment Detox, if you need like literary help. So just notice where you kind of put people into boxes, where you're very short with yourself, you don't give yourself more chances, where you don't do it for others. Check in on the areas of your life you could engage in more brave compassion, and really notice, like, are there creative gifts that you're just wanting to explore for yourself? It doesn't always have to be about showing people what's up. Are there other ways for you to be supporting people? Are there people who are real lights in your life that you would like to be like, hey, you light up my life and thank you very much? They might really need to hear it right now. And then as you do it, then you become this true badass in the strength card who knows how to honor their compassion and their fierceness together, not one above the other, dancing together in this beautiful unity of heaven and earth within yourself. Isn't that wonderful? Well, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you have a wonderful day, week, year, life. And thank you for being here. Take care.